Hello friends, welcome back. Today I have a new dueling book replay for you. It's the Radiant Typhoon deck together with the Runic deck, which is super interesting because in Genesis you have no link zones, so the Runic cards can only use their one effect, the one that melts, and they cannot summon anything, so it's really interesting that people actually play Runic, right? And the cards also don't have any points on them, so yeah, you can play max out, you can play free tip, free fountain, so it's really interesting that he plays that. And I'm playing branded, and right here I'm actually going second, which is kind of scary, because I draw two bricks. Yeah, one engine card, Fall of Arbors, and a Kaiju. Kaijus are kind of good in this format right now because there are a lot of towers that are just unaffected. So to have a Kaiju is a really good thing. And yeah, he goes first, draws tip together with Fountain, Destruction, Flashing Fire, and yeah, that's kind of scary. So let's just go straight into it. He starts. He uses the Fountain, sure, then activates tip, adds curses, and he draws, and I actually forget to banish here, I think, but I will do it later. So then he activates Radiant Typhoon Vision, such a good card together with the Runics, and he actually draws Pot of Greed with it, which is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, he goes activate Pot of Greed and draws two Radiant Typhoon cards. I think those are really interesting. The thing that I don't really like about them is their effect when they can special summon themselves, because they say if you have Mystical Space Typhoon in your graveyard or your opponent controls no spell traps, you can special summon this card from your hand. I think this makes those cards significantly weaker going second, and I don't like that when an engine that's already better going first also just gets way weaker going second. I think that's not a really cool thing. I'd like engines to be like balanced, so it would have been way better if those are stronger when you go second than going first. But yeah, in Yu-Gi-Oh it's always stronger to go first, so I think it's sad that they design archetypes to be even stronger when they go first and then even be weaker when they go second. So the one that goes first already has a huge advantage in Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's the thing I don't really like about the design. But yeah, you could have a Mystical Space Typhoon in your graveyard, then you can also special them. But I think it's fine. But um, he actually draws into those with Pot of Greed. Then he can special summon the one because obviously I control no spell traps. And this one searches him another Radiant Typhoon monster, and this one I think searches him a Radiant Typhoon spell trap. So he goes, activates the next one, adds chant, this one can search him another monster, and then special summons Mikala. Mikala, this one can special summon... okay, if a Radiant Typhoon is activated, you can special summon Radiant Typhoon monster from a deck with a different name. Then the monsters you control, and then you're locked into wind. So yeah, he activates the chant, and then he can in the next chain special summon. Adds actually an MST here, right? Okay. Then uses the effect to special summon from the deck and special summons the Vibrant Vortex. This has a cool effect. It says when your opponent activates a monster effect and you have Mystical Space Typhoon in your graveyard, this is why he searched it. You can negate that effect. Yeah, kind of simple, right? Then if you have two or more Mystical Space Typhoon in your graveyard, you can destroy that monster. Also pretty strong. So then overlays, yeah, he's locked into wind, but he can go the Cicada King. That negates. You can teach from material from this card and target that monster, negate its effect. So when a monster on the field activates its effect, but this can be chain blocked because it's a when effect and it also targets, which is not a really high quality effect, but actually it negates, right? So it's kind of good. Then I actually now realized that I have to banish for the already shuffled back tip, but now I do it and I banish a brand red and he actually sees it, so yeah, now he knows what I'm playing. And then he sets the Mystical Space Typhoon and the Flashing Fire, and then it's my turn. Right here, I draw the Oliver, and I know now that he will have no battle phase in the next turn because he has to skip it. So my thinking right here is, okay, if I don't play, I I won't let him. He won't be able to use the runic effects, right? Because he has two runic. He has one flashing fire in the graveyard, and it's like obvious that he has even more runic cards. And yeah, so I don't want my whole grave to be banished and my whole deck to be banished, and I don't want him to draw more cards, right? And he also has a pretty strong board established, but I don't see a lot more that he can do in the next turn, right? So nothing he can. Yeah, I guess this one could use be used in the next turn, but I was thinking, okay, his board wouldn't get really stronger, and I would really benefit from drawing another card, right? That I could discard with opening, maybe I draw a Cartesia or stuff like that. So this would have really helped to just have another card to be easily able to break this board. And normally it's a good idea to go against Runic like that, to just pass and then just get the best of that he cannot kill you, right? So I decide actually here to just pass the turn. I think I do nothing, yeah, but jokes on me, he top decks Pot of motherfucking Greed, right? So next turn, he activates Pot of Greed, and I'm like, oh, okay, this was a mistake. And he draws a tip and Radiant Typhoon Vision. So, okay. Then he just goes, draws more card into another tip, then uses this effect, special summons another one from the deck. This one actually is also pretty cool. You can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, shove them into the deck, and the activation requires only a quick play to be activated in the chain before. So yeah, this is also super strong. And yeah, then he uses tip, banishes my courier, which is actually cool for me because now I can actually search for the Blazing Cartesia, so I have it now. And he goes, draws 3 more cards and more Radiant Typhoon cards, then uses Slumber, and right here with Slumber he banishes my only branded fusion. I only play one in this deck, and yeah, at this point I'm like, okay, I cannot use my strongest card anymore because there's no way for me to get it back in this deck. So yeah, I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this? I just surrender and yeah, admit defeat right here because I actually lost there just because he RNG banished one of my cards. So this is the thing you kind of have to hate about Runic. Yeah, it's just super annoying. Then it's the next game. Yeah, I obviously go first in this game because I don't want to see the double Pot of Greed again against me. And I have a really strong tool. I'm playing Masquerade in this deck, and Masquerade just cooks the deck that has no battle phase. And also I can use opening to like protect the Masquerade and stuff like that. So yeah, he has runic cards to out it, but if he cannot out it, Masquerade is my single win condition, and with the card I will instantly win this game. And also my hand right here, super strong. I got Branded Fusion, I got Aluber, I got Fusion Deployment. That's like the holy trinity you want to have. Then Ad Libitum and Albion is also a good card when you draw it. He got Pot of Greed, which is actually one of the real cards from the holy trinity, right? Slumber, Flashing Fire, MST is also kind of good against Branded going second. And the Radiant Typhoon, Phoenix, the Great Flame. If a quick play spell card is activated except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. So yeah, if he uses one, he can special sit, and then in the next chain after he used a quick play spell, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, shuffle them into the deck. So yeah, it's also kind of good to break boards, and also against Branded, if you have like Mirror Jade, shuffling back seems kind of good. Also 3k attack, but that does not really matter too much against Runic because usually they don't have a battle phase, but if they do it before their battle phase, yeah, just use MST to special it. They could out something with that, right? So right here, I'm starting with Fusion Deployment. I think it's always a good idea to just start with Fusion Deployment because dodging effects with Cartesia is always nice. Yeah, I should not expect anything here because I know he's like on Pot of Greed, right? So he cannot, on 2 Pot of Greed, he cannot really play a lot of non-engine, and usually Runic decks don't play any non-engine. So yeah, I just go Ecclesia anyways first, because it's always the safest thing to do, so why not do it? Then normal summoning the Aluber, then Aluber effect searches me the brand in red, then use brand fusion, sending the Romarin and the Albus, and then use the effect of Albion as chain link 1 and Romarin as chain link 2. And then I actually decide to also use the Cartesia here, because I know there probably won't come something like a Whaler or something like that, or even Imperm. So I just chain the Cartesia as chain link 3 here, because I'm pretty sure I went here for the double text dragon, right? For the double masquerade. So right here I want to use the Aluber twice, because I don't want to use another name. So I fuse the Aluber and the Albion, so it's on board and has its effect in the end phase for masquerade, and then I resolve Albion to just banish the Aluber to fuse with it again, right? So this is the plan right here, to just get 2 masquerade out of 1 Aluber, which is pretty good if you don't have like another Despia name, which I have here, but it's still more efficient to do it that way. Oh, I actually don't go for the second masquerade. I thought I went for the second masquerade here, but I think it's also okay to go for the Mirror Jade, because the runic deck actually can easily out a masquerade, and so maybe it's like better to go for it in the next turn, or the other way you could do it right here is just go for branded in red in the end phase, because I get another branded in red with Albion in the end phase, so I could just do it in the end phase with branded in red. Let's see how I decide to play it right here. I think both plays are fine. I sent Branded Sword, which is like easy plus, and then I draw Despian Tragedy, so yeah. I add back Fallen of Albus with the Branded Sword, and then I set Brand in red, and then use the effect, yes, and add Brand in red to the hand, then add Aluber to the hand. And right here, I think it's okay. You should use the Tragedy and probably Aluber or Fallen of Albus, because Fallen of Albus doesn't have that much value in the opponent's turn, but Aluber also does not have in the turn 3, because you only play like 1 brand fusion. But let's see how I decide here. I think I went for the Aluber here. Yeah, I went for the Aluber, and then go just for the double text dragon right here, and then use Tragedy effect to add Thaumaturge, which Thaumaturge is a really good card to have in the opponent's turn, because yeah, I have Cartesia here, and Cartesia can just easily summon it by fusing. Then he gets another MST, which is kind of not really good, because I only have Branded Red, and using MST on Branded Red, it's like meh, I guess. Then goes main phase, uses Flashing Fire to target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So he targets one of my masquerades, pays 1,200 life points for it. I sadly have no opening here, and I think this was also a mistake to play it like that, because I think what I should have done is to go into the mirror, not go into the Mirror Jade, just go into the second masquerade, and then in the end phase I should just set my branded in red, and in the end phase get branded opening, use branded opening to special summon Quem, right? And then I have branded opening in the graveyard to be able to protect my masquerade, because I should have seen this runic flashing fire coming here miles away. So then he only has like one other way to actually out my masquerade, which is just negating him, but then he cannot out both with his runic engine. So yeah, I kind of misplayed that, right? But yeah, then one of them gets destroyed. I banish 2. Actually, the third branded in red here, which kind of sucks, but yeah, whatever. And then he uses Pot of Greed, loses another 600, gets Tip, and also the Radiant Typhoon Crossair. This one has the same summoning condition. If a quick play spell card is activated, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is now a special summon, you can add 1 Radiant Typhoon card or 1 Mystical Space Typhoon from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon. Okay, it also locks you into wind and cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, which is also interesting. So Then resolution, he asked me for draw because he sees I play it. I have, unfortunately, don't have it. Then he loses another 600 for tip, and I use the card from the top of my deck. And here's the curses, which I can out actually the second masquerade. And I could have prevented that by just having opening in the graveyard to protect the masquerade. So yeah. But right here, I don't really know why he plays it like that. He does not chain the freezing curses. Because I think right here, the Mirror Jade actually poses a threat to him. Because he has 2 dead cards. The Mystical Space Typhoon basically do nothing because he knows this is branded in red, so he knows that those are kind of useless. And then with this card, he first tries to out the Mirror Jade, I think, and to just have it. He tries to have the Freezing Curse in hand, so I cannot use Mirror Jade to out the Great Flame Radiant Typhoon Phoenix before he can activate its effect, because he wants to shuffle back my Mirror Jade so it doesn't trigger in the end phase. So I think this is the plan, right? Because even if he outs the Masquerade, he has no battle phase, so it will get its effect back in my turn, so it's still a problem. So yeah, then he goes for MST, plays another 600. Right here, I actually read the card, which is not usual for me. And I read the effect. If a quick play spell card is activated, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, shuffle them into the deck, which was immediately scary for me. So I was like, all right, after this quick play spell resolves, I have a problem, because then he can just shuffle back my Mirror Jade and my Masquerade. So I was like, okay, I 100% have to chain the Mirror Jade as chaining 2, so this guy won't be able to trigger. So I use it and send here the Albion. I think Albion is the right target to send here, because yeah, I could have theoretically fused Albus and Khadija in this turn to be able to special summon it back with the Rindbrum, but I don't think there's a good target that I want to fuse in, so follow-up is kind of nice. And then, yeah, chaining 1 was MST, target branded red, chaining 2 is Mirror Jade, chaining 3 is actually Freezing Curses right here. And I don't know why he goes chaining 3 immediately, because it's kind of obvious that I have to chain the branded in red, but I also know that he has curses, so maybe his fear was so that I just say, okay, yeah, fine, I don't care, just destroy my branded in red, I won't chain it. So I think he kind of had to use the curses. Then he uses curses as chaining 3, targets the Mirror Jade. Right here, I'm still not chaining the branded in red, I'm chaining the Khadija, which is in hindsight maybe not the best play. I should have maybe just chained oh no, I actually cannot chain the branded red, that's the thing, right? Because I don't have a card in graveyard for it, so I actually have to use the Khadija first. That's it, right? I have to get a card into the graveyard to be able to activate the branded red. That's the thing. Yeah. But then I use Khadija and fuse. He does not want to chain anything on that, and then I fuse with Katirsia, Mirror Jade, and Ad libitum to just go for the Predator Plant, which is fine, I think, here to be able to out something that like Radiant Typhoon monster, just negate its effect. And then the Mirror Jade resolves, banish the Radiant Typhoon, and then yeah, my branded red gets destroyed because I have no nothing in the graveyard to just chain it. Yeah, but he still admits defeat because there's nothing left he could do. He has no battle phase. Yeah, he could special summon that, but he cannot remove the Masquerade right here. So he would have just lost against the burn 600 for every effect. Then we go into game 3. Yeah, I actually have to go second here, and that's kind of scary. I actually played roll, but as you can see, I do not draw roll, which is kind of unfortunate. But overall, my hand is good because I have Allure of Darkness together with Tragedy, and also Fusion Deployment, which is super nice. So having Fusion Deployment, super good card in this deck. It just does nearly everything if you pair it together with with another card. And his hand is kinda bad, I have to admit. Because you can see right here the big weakness of the Runic engine. So if you don't have any other draw cards and only Runic cards, and you have no tip and no fountain, which is only 6 cards in your 40 card stack. So you actually have to get to either tip or fountain to get to fountain, right? That your Runic engine actually does something. And because those cards cannot go into Hugin, because Hugin has to be special summoned into the extra monster zone, and there is no extra monster zone. So yeah, if you have the fountain, the Runic engine can be quite strong. I think they can be really quite strong. Because you can draw always, you could just banish stuff and something like that. Those are really high quality cards, right? But if you don't have fountain or the card that gives you access to fountain, which is one of 6 cards, those are just non-engine cards that lock you out of the battle phase. Then he has a Great Flame, which is actually an interruption, which can be good, and he has a starter for the Radiant Typhoon, which is the better part of his hand. So yeah, let's see how he plays it out. He just special summons the Eldon because I control no spell traps. Use the effect, searches a monster, searches the Swen. Then he can special summon the Swen. This one searches him Radiant Typhoon spell trap. Use the effect, goes for Radiant Typhoon Vision because this is actually quite good. Works quite good together because if you have the Radiant Typhoon engine, you can actually try to draw into Fountain, which is a really good idea. And I think he also tries that. Unfortunately, he just gets more runic spells that do nothing without Hugin. So yeah, Runic engine is kind of tricky right here. I would have never thought I would say that, but normally Runic engine is like hyper consistent, but with this it's like super tricky. Then he just special summons the Great Flame because he used in the chain before a quick play spell. Then he overlays for the Totem Bird. I haven't seen this card before, but it's actually a wind, so he's wind locked, so it actually works. And it just negates. When a spell trap card is activated, you can detach 2 materials from this card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. Yeah, it's kind of okay, but it negates the activation, which is not really good against Branded, because this one activated once per turn, this one activated once per turn, Branded Fusion also activated once per turn. Yeah, I only play one, but I can just use Tragedy to reset it, or use the Trap to add it back to hand and just use it again. So it's a good idea to play it, but yeah, I don't think it's like the perfect thing to have. And then he just sets his runic spells. He has Slumber to protect, he has Flashing Fire to pop a special summon monster, he has Curses to negate one monster, and he has Destruction to destroy a spell trap, which does not help him a lot against my deck because, yeah, I cannot play the continuous spell, the Branded Lost, because it's 66 points, so it's ridiculous. I cannot play that. So this card does nothing. I top deck another Allure of Darkness, and yeah, funny enough, Allure of Darkness is not once per turn, so you can see me resolve both this turn. And the first one, I draw into Branded Sword, which is not really great, but I draw into Branded Opening along with it, which makes it actually great, because I can just discard it for Branded Opening, which is ridiculous. So then I banish the Tragedy, and this one searches me Allure, so I can easily get to my Branded Fusion. Yeah, I have Opening, but this one is then there to just summon Quem or another name, and then I go for the other Allure of Darkness. I think it's fine to do that here, because I could actually chain Opening here to get another Dark Monster, but yeah, I actually have Fallen of Albus that I can easily discard and then get back with Branded Sword. Easily discard, easily banish, and then get back with Branded Sword. So I think it's actually super okay to just activate the other Allure of Darkness. And right here, I draw into Albion and the Cosmic Cyclone. I decide to still banish the Fallen of Albus and not the Albion, because this one can play me draw me another card to be able to draw into more Bolt Breakers. So yeah, this is actually goes kind of nice for me. Then right here, I activate Fusion Deployment. I think it's not the best thing to just go right here for fusion deployment, I think I should have used the draw for Albion before, but yeah, it does not really matter. He thinks if he wants to negate it with Totem Bird, but he decides not to do it. And then I use Albion here, send Fall of Albus, so now my Brand in Red is live. So as I said, I should have used Albion before, sent the Albus in Graveyard, and then Special Summon Cartesia, because this one makes my Brand in Red live, so I can dodge stuff, right? And then I goes onto the under the deck, and I draw Despia Theater, and I think this draw is like okay. Then I normally summon Aluber. He cannot negate it with freezing curses because then I can just chain Cartesia, but he does not know I don't have a monster. So if he uses curses on this one and then uses destruction on the Cartesia, I'm actually losing this effect, and this would have been devastating. So I should have probably played around that, right? Because I have opening in my hand. I should have used opening before here, I think. I'm actually deciding to chain it right here because I want to have the Branded Sword in Graveyard, so I can easily get back the Albus to be always ready to fuse with Cartesia. But again, I should have done this before. I should have used opening before I norm some Aluber. There are a lot of things that could punish me here, so this was not the ideal sequencing here. And we always want to play perfect, right? Because it can make the difference. If you play something like Branded, you kind of have to play perfect, because if you don't, your opponent can you make your mistakes way worse. And then right here he actually uses the Radiant Typhoon Phoenix, because I forgot he can actually use this when I use a quick play spell, and Brand Opening is one. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate for me that I did not read the cards right. But right here, I actually have Branded Sword in Graveyard, so I could always chain it to get back the Fall of Albus. He targets the Quam and also targets the Cartesia. So right here, I actually have to chain the Cartesia, which I think I'm also doing. Then he chains Curses to negate the Cartesia. And I think right here, I'm chaining, I'm chaining the red, which makes a lot of sense, because then in chaining 4 I can get back the Albus, and I can get back this Albus with Branded Red, and then I can also get back the other Albus, and then he chains the Totem Bird, which is actually fine, because right here he gets a lot of value through that, because I cannot chain immediately another one, because I can actually chain it when the negation is activated, so I can just chain it in the next chain, right? So, but then he cannot negate the Branded Fusion. But right here this happens, so he banishes 3 cards from top of my deck. Those do not matter that much, but I got now another target that I could add back with the Branded Sword, but it doesn't matter that much. And yeah, chain resolves, then shuffles back my stuff, and then I'm sending Retribution with Quem, because with Retribution now I can get back my Brand in Red and use it again, because it's activated only once per turn. So I'm actually deciding to now use Brand in Red to be always able to dodge other stuff, like the one that destroys, right? It's Freezing Curse, Flashing Fire, yeah, because I'm kind of expecting him to have that. And then I activate the Despia Theater. I don't know why now, because I haven't added back the Albus yet with the Branded Sword, but yeah, I could have also done that later, but I think this makes like simply no difference. Then he uses Destruction. That's the only card I could have drawn that he can use Destruction on, as I have to say. But yeah, then the Destruction gets destroyed and he banishes both Cartesias, which is like enrages me right here, because what is this algorithm of Dueling Book that I shuffle back a Cartesia, and then both Cartesias that I play get on top of my deck. So I'm really enraged right here. And yeah, I'm also very like, oh come on, what the fuck. So I'm like a bit enraged here. But it's fine. Now I'm actually using the Cosmic Cyclone. I haven't used it before, because I did not want to snipe like double cards he maybe have. So if he maybe has like 2 Freezing Curses, I don't want to hit like 2. But right now, I'm kind of sure that there is also a flashing fire somewhere down there. And now the ability to hit one, to hit like the one flashing fire he hasn't used now, is like really likely. So I'm just going for the risk and targeting one, and then yeah, I actually hit the flashing fire, which is a good thing. And then I actually can now use my brand fusion. There could be another flashing fire or another runic spell, but this does not really hinder me that much. And then I send Fall of Albus and also the Quam, because this is my last light monster I have in my deck, because I got banished the both others with the ridiculous destruction, right? So yeah. Then I'm going for Albion, use Albion's effect right here. I think I'm just going for yeah, for just straight up the Mirror Jade, because I want to out his board, and if his board is gone, he has nothing left, right? Because he needs runic spells and also the fountain to come back in the game somehow, because I can also set another spell, so he won't be able to special summon his Radiant cards. Those won't get him any follow-up, so yeah. And then I go straight into the battle phase, because I'm still fearing him having like interruption here, and then using the effect of Albion the Branded Dragon, and then Mirror Jade sending Albion the Brand Dragon, and then I am out the Radiant Typhoon Phoenix because it's actually 3k, and I run over the Totem Bird, and then get with Aluba directly, so he actually gets low into life points, so that my Masquerade that I will build now has like more impact. Then I just set the brand in red, go into the end phase, use the effect of Albion. I think I get another brand in red right here and make a Masquerade. I get back the Guiding Quam into the hand. I still have like Fallen of Albus into the graveyard to use the other branded in red. And then I fuse Fallen of Albus from the hand and also the Aluber to go for a Masquerade, and I could also build another Masquerade because this one is always treated as a Despia card, so I can build Masquerade with it, just add back Albus with Brandon Red and then fuse Quem to get another Masquerade, which is devastating if he only has like 4,800 life points left. So I pass turn here, he draws Radiant Typhoon Chant, which does not really help him. He actually tries to play into the board, but from here on it's kind of over because he has to pay like life points for everything. I thought about actually going for the other brand in red to just make another Masquerade, but I'm thinking right here I can easily wait because he has to answer the first one, and then he has also no battle phase, so it's kind of hard for him to play here. And yeah, then he adds the Radiant Typhoon Vision, and yeah, just goes for Destiny draw, sees if he has like any luck, maybe Pot of Greed plus another card. He actually got the Pot of Greed, but no quick play spell, which is actually super unfortunate. So he has to discard his whole hand, and his turn is kind of over from here. And yeah, he actually scoops, and I win this game, and it's over. I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I quite enjoyed seeing his deck play. I think it's a really cool and interesting deck. Also, having the runing cards without Hugin is also really cool. Having Pot of Greed, seeing this card, how broken it is, right? I think that's a really cool concept. I really like how the deck plays. Unfortunately, it's kind of weak against Masquerade if you protect it with opening, if you're a smart guy. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.